In this question, we need to calculate the longest valid parentheses in the given string. Normally, if we want to find out the valid parentheses, we use stack to help us to traverse the input. When we traverse the input, if the current element is opening parentheses, we push it into stack. If the current element is closing parentheses, then we pop out the first element from stack, then calculate the current length and update the max length. After finish the traversal, we return the result that we already found the max length. The max length we have found in, for example, these are two examples. The first one, this line is index in the given string, and this is the second line is the input, the given string, and this is stack and the max length. We first push -1 into stack. We will explain it later. Then the first element is opening parentheses. We push it. We push the index into stack here. Now that is 0. And the second one is closing. Then we pop out the first element and calculate the max. The max we use the current index to minus the after pop out the element, we calculate the this index, current index minus this first index, then to calculate the max. That's the reason why we push -1 first. Now we update the max length is 2. The third element is closing as well. Before the first step, the first thing we need to do is first we pop out the first element from the stack. Now and to check if the stack is empty or not. If the stack is empty, then we push this current index of the closing parentheses into stack. Now the stack is 2. The next one is opening. We just push it into stack. So the index of the opening is 3. We just push it into stack. The next one is still opening parentheses. Then we push the current index into stack. The next one is closing parentheses. We first pop out the first element and calculate the current length by the current index minus the first element in the stack, which is 5 minus 3, also 2. So we don't update the max length here. The last one is closing parentheses. Then we first pop out the first element in the stack, and then if the stack is not empty, we calculate the max length. Use the current index minus the first element in the stack, which is 4, and so the max length is 4 here. the result of this example is 4. Let's see the second example. We first push -1 at first, and the first element in the input is closing parenthesis. We first before we push it into stack, we first pop out the first element here, then to see if the stack is empty, we need to push this closing parenthesis into stack. So we push 0 here because we need to push the index into stack. The second one is opening parenthesis. We just push it into stack. And the next one is closing parenthesis, and we first pop out the first element here, then calculate the current length. It's 2 minus 1 because we use current index to minus the first element in stack here. So the max length here we update it to 2. The next one is opening parenthesis. We push 3 into stack. Then the next one is closing. So we first pop out the first element and use 4 to minus 0, and it's 4. It's 4, so we update max to 4. And the next one is opening parenthesis. We push it into stack, and the next one is still opening parenthesis. We push it into stack here. The last one is closing parenthesis. We first pop out the first element in stack and use the current index to minus the first element in stack here. Use 7 to minus 5, so the current length is 2, smaller than 4, so we don't update the max. So in this question, the high level is to calculate the longest valid parenthesis. Step 1 is initialize stack to help us to traverse input and push -1 first into stack. The second step is if the current character of input is opening parenthesis, just push it into stack. Push its index into stack. Step 3. If the current character is closing, we first, this is the most important step, we first pop out the first element in the stack and check if the stack is empty. If it's it is empty, push current index into stack, or calculate the current length and update the max. So this is the whole step. And now let's finish the coding. First we initialize a stack here because we want to push the index into stack. So so here is integer stack equals to new array deck, and we first push -1 here, then initialize max length equals 0. Now we for loop the input if current character is opening parenthesis, we just push the index into stack. Else we first pop out. Else, if the current character is closing parenthesis, we first pop out the first element in the stack, and then check if the stack is empty. Now we don't calculate the current length. We need to push the current index. Just for in the future, we need to calculate the current length. Use this index. Else, if the stack is not empty, we need to calculate the current length and update the max length. We use current index minus the first element in the stack to update this max. After we finish the for loop, we can return the max here. So this is the coding.